YouTube, it's echobear, and today I want to do an app for you guys that's called War Dragons. Now before I get into talking about this app and what all it's about, let's get through some of the serious stuff. So War Dragons is made by Pocket Gems, and the first version that I can find of it being released was on March 17th, 2016. And this is a dragon MMO. Yeah. So it's an MMO involving dragons and fighting dragons. Technically it's a tower defense dragon MMO, but yeah, let's get to it. Kind of going off of what I just said, it's a tower defense dragon MMO. Review over, let's go home, bye. No, just kidding. There's a lot to talk about. So the best way to describe this app in a way that makes sense without you playing it yourself is your goal is to breed dragons together, get bigger, badder dragons to go take down other people's bases, while at the same time using what you get from those bases to build up your own base and make it bigger and badder and make it more strong so that when other players come to grief you or attack you, you don't lose as much. So it's a very interesting back and forth MMO in which you never fully actually interact with other players. Except for in the case of the guild. Right now, since I haven't played in a while, I had to rejoin a guild and I joined a YouTubers guild. So, peace. But pretty much, like, that's it. There's a ton of extra little things here and there. There's a ton of extra little things here and there that you mess around with, but essentially that's your main goal. So you start out with 2 dragons, get through the tutorial, then you have 3 dragons, then you braid those dragons together. There's a lot of dragon incest happening. That's weird, didn't think of it that way until just now. That's strange. Okay, moving on. You get a bunch of dragons, you take down a bunch of fortresses, you build up places, you build up barns for meat, you build lumber yards, you burn down forests to build more things, you build trebuchets, ballistas, cannons, weird laser gun things, all to protect your little dragon home. It's a very weird premise and it doesn't have a lot of story driven or anything other than getting stronger as a player as motivation. Which for me, honestly, it's hard to get behind that and it's hard for me to stick with apps like this where it's just kind of a constant grind and there's not a lot of reward to it other than being able to grind more and play more. So it's a really frustrating uphill battle for me. I'm not the biggest fan of that style of gameplay, but otherwise it's a functioning game. All of the different dragons that you have different fighting types. There are hunters, there are warriors, there are sorcerers. All of these are dragons, by the way. Everything dragon. Except for you, for some reason. But you continue on, you have these different types of dragons, you have to learn how their different fighting patterns are better for different areas of other people's maps. Some dragons have immunity to some types of weapons, some have shields, some have health regeneration, some have attacks where you can lightning chain through all of the different towers that they have for defense. It gets very complicated very fast, but the game explains it in a very consistent and pretty self-explanatory way. It kind of also has a Farmville aspect to it where you have to have so many of meat and wood and supplies to upgrade this building, but you need to upgrade this building first so you can have that much, and it's just kind of like a never-ending circle of gathering materials, getting materials, building things so you can have more materials. Like, it's a very cyclical game. Like, it just circles back on itself. And the most interesting part of it, to me, is the plot that they give in the very beginning. That, like, you are the one to come save the dragons, and then, like, you're never given anything else beyond that. Which is really kind of a disservice. I feel like this game could have had, like, a really kick-ass story mode where you're going through different styles of islands, different setups. It could have been like you have to figure out how to defend your own island and stuff like that, but it's just not there. All of the islands are identical. Literally, you could just hammer it through like 50 different players. The island setup what you see is all the same. The only thing that changes is the fact that they may have a cannon here or a trebuchet there. That's the only thing in this game that ever changes, is the placement of people's defense items. And it's a huge bummer, honestly, because it has potential, and I think that's why I'm so frustrated in it, because I see the potential and it brags about its potential with all of the amazing dragons that you can unlock. Don't get me wrong, the dragon designs are freaking fantastic. They're beautiful, they're gorgeous, they're so uniquely designed. Like, some of them are really, really creative looking dragons. But it just falls flat in the gameplay and motivation areas. Like, this game could have been so good. It could have had, like, aerial dragon dogfights and just so many options other than what they did, and it's frustrating to me. Now, it isn't a horrible game. I have dumped a lot of hours into this game. I have tons of dragons. I've leveled up my hatchery maybe once or twice so I can have more dragons. I've upgraded a ton of stuff. Like, I'm pretty deep into this game, and I'm pretty decent at it too. But it's just, it falls flat in like the most important places, and that's the fun aspect. And it's frustrating to me. It might be personally me being a little too nitpicky, but when, like, it feels like you're just kind of attacking clones of yourself. Like, the first time I went into battle, I thought I was attacking my own island because it's set up the exact same because of the tutorial. Like, there's just nothing differentiating you from another player aside from a username and a player portrait, and that's it. So, sound design wise, it has a wonderfully done orchestral soundtrack going with it. The dragons have good sound effects as well. They're big and roary, and they have really good fire sound effects going along with it. The animations have a little bit to be desired. It's a very pretty game in general. It's not anything to write home about. It's something that you'll probably see like mid PS2 era if you were playing it on a console type thing. So it's not the best, not the worst. It still looks decent, and even though the animations for the explosions are a little wonky and sometimes the dragons just kind of look like they're like, they look a little dorky, it still is a very well-functioning game. So, for as meh as I feel about everything within this game, I have to give it a 5 out of 10. It's not a bad game by any means, it's just a disappointing game. I expected a lot more out of it. I wish it could have had more, so it gets a meh score because I feel meh about it. I really wanted to love it, honestly I did, when I saw dragons. And the fact that I could have a lot of dragons and they were my dragons and not dragons I had to fight, I was so hype about it. And then I was let down. So that's a major bummer. So thank you guys, as always, for listening to me ramble on about apps. If you guys do still want to try it, there will be links in the description for you guys to check out the app yourself. Make sure to stick to the very end of this video to see more stuff that I've done. Leave a like and a comment down below if you like this video. Also, leave a comment about your favorite type of dragon. And that could literally mean any type of dragon. Whatever your brain goes to, what its favorite is, let's talk about that. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching the video again. I hope you have a lovely day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!